All right, what's up, everybody? We are back here again for week number 3 of the Backyard Bookies. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host Scott. Scott, we did okay last week. Both our upsets hit. We're tied 3-3 after 2 weeks. It's exactly where I want to be. I don't know about you, but I'm happy with this so far.
Yeah, definitely not where I want to be, but yeah, we both hit our underdogs. I think mine was like plus 185, and pretty happy about it. Yours was, I think, what plus
117
one
around, yeah.
seventeen. I mean, yeah, so I mean it's underdog either way. It's plus money, so yeah, we did good there. But yeah, the three others weren't so good. I got the NFL bet kind of. I said 2 touchdowns. You got one, but either way, we're not counting that on the backyard bookies. That's a side gig. So yeah, just hoping we can recover from not a great week, but yeah, hopefully we got some good picks for us this week.
Uh, it's hard, first week's the hardest. Second week's not great either. A lot of weird games. Nobody's playing anybody. I'm never betting on a dynasty team ever again. But what do you got for us this week? First bet for us.
So first bet, we're going down the street. We're going back down to San Marcos. Texas State's coming off a pretty big win. Their little rivalry win against UTSA at home. Huge game for them. They're actually looking like they could potentially be a playoff team if they keep it up. Maybe we'll see if they keep winning. Hopefully they don't, because my pick
Technicality.
is not with them.
Yep.
Um, just for a little spoiler, obviously UTSA, they got their asses kicked 49-10 at home. They're 1.5 point favorites, weirdly enough, against Arizona State, who's also 2-0, coming off a win against Mississippi State SEC team. They were also at home. I feel like this game is kind of going to be a kind of a hangover game. I feel like for Texas State. I don't feel like they're going to come out as sharp. They look really. I mean, they look really good. Rivalry game, a lot of emotion at home, sellout crowd too. Chimmy's. I saw a picture of Chimmy's. It was popping. So would have been a fun place to go. But I think this is going to be a little hangover game. It's actually tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow, 6:30. I feel like Arizona State's going to come out and probably get the win here. They're minus 125. Um, I mean, it's pretty much down the middle. I'm going to go Arizona State minus 1.5 here. Like I said, probably a hangover game for Texas State. That was their probably the biggest win of their entire program. So maybe a little, slow game for them tomorrow.
I like that. Yeah, Texas State kind of flying out there. I don't get it, man. Skidaboo had like 300 total yard, like ran for like 300 yards for Arizona State. He's a Christian McCaffrey-esque running back out there in the desert. So I don't get this one. Yeah, Texas State is okay. Like they're good. They're a good G5 team. Are we seriously going to consider them going to be able to compete with Arizona? Like Arizona State's a real team with a real head coach, it looks like, that's kind of turned that program around. So I like it. I'm going to go another way, also down the street. But this team got their ass kicked by Texas State last week, and that would be the UTSA Roadrunners. And they're going into Austin to face a juggernaut. And I repeat, a juggernaut in the Longhorns, coming off a massive win, which we kind of gave out there as our, was that like our honorable mentions last week. I said Texas would cover that 7.5, no problem. And they did. I probably should actually bet it, but I'm a coward. I'm not going to be a coward this week. Texas laying 35.5 at home against the Roadrunners. I'm taking Texas. They're going to cover the spread. They are easily a top 3 team in the country. UTSA just got humiliated. So, Trailer maybe gets them back at it, but it's just, they're not comparable talent wise. And the big thing here is when Ewers goes down, my man Arch is going to come in the game. And Arch, they're going to throw the ball with Arch. They're going to keep trying to put up points because they need Arch Manning to get the reps in there. So that's what I like. Normally backups come in, things slow down, they stop scoring points. That's not going to happen with this Texas team this year. 35.5. It's a massive number, but it ain't that massive. UTSA just lost by more than that this weekend. So I'm going to take the Horns here. I know anti-Aggie, but hey man, I go where the money tells me to go. I'm going to take the Horns minus 35.5.
Yeah, just looking at like UTSA last 2 games, Vegas has kind of been completely wrong about them. They were 23.5 point favorites against Kennesaw, won by 12. Didn't cover that one, and then they were 2.5 point dogs against Texas State, lost by 39. So They've been completely wrong against the spread. Vegas has with UTSA. UTSA probably not nearly as good as they could be a bottom 10 team for all we know after their first two games. So yeah, I mean the hook there, the 35.5, maybe a little scary, but yeah, I think they're going to keep pounding. They'll probably go Texas probably go up 21-0 in the first quarter and probably take it to them a little bit. 6 o'clock game. Um, yeah, people will be ready. I think Texas can probably cover that pretty easily. Hopefully the hook doesn't get you, but also don't think UTSA is going to score too much, so they can probably cover that pretty easily. Um, my second game, we're going to the now Big Ten.
Ooh.
We're going to go to not Eugene. We're going to Corvallis actually.
Mm.
There's a big stat here. Corvallis, Oregon State, and Oregon. 16.5 points is the spread for Oregon. Oregon's looked good, not great. First game, I'm pretty sure they did not cover at
Definitely,
all.
they did not
Definitely,
cover come close to
definitely didn't
covering.
cover their first game. Yeah, Colorado State, right?
No, Idaho
Idaho actually.
State.
Idaho was 10, yeah, and didn't cover against Boise either. So only won by 3. Boise has one of the best running backs in the nation. So tough one there. There were 17.5 point favorites there. Um, Oregon State's done okay. They won last week, 21-0. The big stat here for me is in the last 3 years. I saw the stat earlier. Oregon State's 16-3 at home against the spread. Um, that's pretty eye opening. I
Good.
mean, Corvallis can get pretty rowdy, and I'm really, really liking 16.5. I wish it was 17.5, but I do like 16.5. I feel like Oregon isn't as good as we think they are. We don't like Evan Stewart anyway, so he can go die in Eugene. Don't actually mean that. Sorry, this is a family program, but yeah, I think Oregon State can probably cover this number. But that stat being the biggest reason for that. So Oregon State plus 16.5 against Oregon at home.
All right, I like it. That's a rivalry game that's ended because of conference affiliation. It's weird to say that the Civil War is this weekend.
Yeah, in
Um,
September. Very weird.
it's so stupid. There's another one that we're gonna touch on a little later that's also happening out there. I'm going against the program, I think. I'm off brand this week. Our Iowa Hawkeyes, baby. Shit the bed last week. We thought, oh, this is a new Iowa team. They hang 40 week one. The total closed at 37. They easily hit that. They come out next week, 20-19. Can't beat Iowa State. Don't score at all.
Don't
But
talk to me about that. I lost on an actual parlay with that, so that Iowa State kicker owes me some money.
yeah, he probably does. I mean, Iowa in general should just owe you money for that. But the total closed at 36.5. They got Troy this week. I don't know anything about Troy. They're 2-0, though. It's a good team. Troy, 2-0. Oh, wait, 0-2, excuse me. Why does it say? Oh, I'm looking at the thing backwards. 0-2 this year. Troy, bad team. Not a good team. Awful. Lose to Memphis comfortably and get a close game with Nevada, but Nevada's really kind of, it's Nevada. But they were 7.5 point favorites. But I'm not touching the spread in this game. I don't give a shit about the Iowa Hawkeyes. We're going over, baby. Over 39. We would have pushed last week. They had 40 week one. We're going over 39 this week with the Hawkeyes. I think they're going to get some frustrations out, score some points somehow, some way, and maybe Troy gets in the end zone once, and that's all I need. I'm going against the program here. My gut tells me Iowa just they can score against bad teams now, but when they play real football teams, they can't score. They just revert back to who they used to be. So I'm going to take the over Iowa and Troy over 39.
It's a ballsy play to take an Iowa over.
I'm not going to
I
watch it. I'm
definitely,
going to
I
refuse to
definitely would not
watch.
want to watch that and just grind through that game, watching a bunch of punts. But like you said, if Troy scores 1 or 2 touchdowns, great. That's going to help you out a lot. Um, just just not very happy this last week with Iowa. I took them money line in a parlay and got screwed. So I'm going to stay away from them for a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how that works. I mean, 38.5 obviously isn't a big number, but you never know. I mean, any number is a big number when there's an Iowa Hawkeyes team on the field. So, yeah,
They're
we'll
an
see how
over
that
team.
works.
They're an over team this year, Scott. Don't worry about it. They're an over team. We're
I,
offensive
I don't, I don't think
juggernaut.
that's true, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, hopefully Troy can score a couple of touchdowns for you.
I got it. All right.
For my third game, we're going. I guess sort of the big game of the week. I mean, I would
There's
say
bad
maybe.
week. Bad week
Yeah,
of
it's
games.
not. It's not. I mean, I did have the Missouri game, which I'm was shocked they're sixth in the nation. I didn't even know that. Um, but I have Bama, Wisconsin. Sort of the big game of the week, 11 a.m. on Saturday. Um, just like who was it? The what Matt Rule said,
Yeah, we'll
eggs
play
and
at 9
kegs in the
o'clock.
morning.
Yeah,
Well, eggs
eggs and
and kegs,
kegs,
yeah.
baby.
So Big Ten defense football in the morning in Wisconsin. Over under, I had it at 50 and a half. Literally 3 or 4 hours ago, it's gone down to 49 and a half. So that's telling me people have the same thought as me. I'm not taking the spread here. I'm going to take the total. 55% is on the under. It's pretty much down the middle. It's not too overwhelming. I just feel like Alabama might score 28 points. Wisconsin, they can't really play offense too well. They might score 14. Um, I think it'll be kind of a low scoring game, 49 and a half, 7 touchdowns and a hook. Kind of like the 50 and a half a little more, but I think we're going to take the under here, 49 and a half. Wisconsin, not that great. Bama, not as good as they used to be with the new regime coming in. They're still good, obviously, but they're not the same team under Saban as they were last year. So we're going to take 49 and a half. We're going to take the under.
I like it. Yeah, Wisconsin is Wisconsin, and Bama just, kind of feels a little awkward. It's not the same. You're right. It's different. They don't have the right quarterback for the offense. Like it's very clear. Like Milrow, you kind of need a field general with this Kalen DeBoer offense. And Kalen DeBoer kind of overrated as a head coach, I'm gonna be honest now. It was like a really good second half of the third quarter to fourth quarter for Bama last week. But other than that, I mean, they were slogging against USF. Again, maybe USF
Yeah.
is just that, maybe they're just that team for them. And Wisconsin's Wisconsin. I like it. 11. I love an early under, good kickoff. I don't think there's a huge disparity between the two teams like there used to be. So yeah, I like this one a lot. I'm feeling zesty this week. My volunteers came through for me last week in a big, big way, housing NC State. And they maybe have the worst team in football coming into town, and that would be your Kent State Golden Flash. 0-2 on the season. Now, they played okay week one against Pitt. They lost 55-24, didn't cover. But they played St. Francis of Pennsylvania last week. They were 17 and a half point favorites, and they lost. They outright lost to St. Francis of Pennsylvania. I don't even know where St. Francis of Pennsylvania is or what football conference they're associated with. Are they an FCS school? Are they like a Division two school? Is it a pickup league from the YMCA? I don't know. But Tennessee, they like to score points. 51 against ranked NC State, 69 against Chattanooga week one. Uh, Zesty boy here. It's only 62 and a half points. I only need 62 and a half points. I don't think Kent State is going to score. Maybe they get a touchdown, but I do think Tennessee can hang a 62, hang a 70 this week. It's all volunteer right here. Like I'm all in on Tennessee. I think Tennessee is severely underrated at number 7. I think they're probably the fourth best team in the country. Monsters at the tackle position. They can pound the rock. And, Nico, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, is kind of a dog at quarterback. He's a real dude for Tennessee. So I'm just all in on this Volunteers offense. Poor Kent State. They're really bad. I feel bad for them. It's not going to get any better. Only 62 and a half for Tennessee. Yeah, taking the over.
Yeah, don't dog on the St. Francis, PA Red Flash team. They did. I just looked it up. They did play Dayton week one, and
Okay.
they only lost by 8. It was 18-10. So wherever they're from, whatever conference they're in, maybe they're a powerhouse in that conference. But yeah, Kent State's just terrible. I really hope they can get you a few scores. Obviously, Tennessee's going to do what they do. Like you said, Nico's the man. We talked about that last week, and he showed up again. I want to see those odds if they went up again. I think it was plus 1100 last week. Um, could be even a little shorter
Fire.
now than it was last week. Yeah, you definitely need a couple scores for Kent State, but I think you can make that happen. 62 and a half is a lot, but I think at least Tennessee will probably be up 5 touchdowns at halftime, and hopefully we'll
They
get you
scored
that covered.
69 against Chattanooga. Like Chattanooga, Kent State, probably the same.
Yeah, I mean, guess we'll see. But yeah, St. Francis, PA, watch out for them. Could be a powerhouse, and wherever they are, who knows?
Nico plus 1048 for the Heisman currently.
So it's about the same. Yeah,
Quinn
I think it was
Ewers
1100 last week.
Quinn Ewers your heavy favorite right now at plus 525, 524.
Yeah, that sounds about right. If he does well
All
in
right.
the SEC, then that'll probably gonna be pretty much be a
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah, he'll have one bad game against Georgia, the real team he faces. But we're not here to talk about that. Give us your upset this week.
So before I do that, honorable mentions. I do have a couple.
Aju.
Like I said, I had Mizzou minus 17 versus Boston College. Yeah, Missouri. I didn't know even they were number 6. I guess they're pretty good. Um, but and the Boston College team beat Florida State doesn't really mean much, but I think Mizzou would probably cover in that game. Like I said, as I said, Florida State. I had Memphis plus 6.5 at Florida State. Florida State bad. Memphis can put up some points. Um, I got Wyoming plus 11.5 at versus BYU. They're at home. That does help playing it at their home stadium a little bit altitude. Maybe BYU's used to it though, but I like the touchdown and a field goal. Sounds good to me. And then last week you had Texas Tech on the over. They didn't quite get it. They were trying. So I'm taking UNT Texas Tech under 69.5. I don't think Tech's quite as good as we thought on offense, and they tried real hard to get you over, but couldn't quite get it done. But for my upset, we're staying in the SEC here. Um, not our game. We're not Texas A&M, Florida. I don't do that. We're gonna go to South Carolina here.
Mm.
Nussmeier's a pretty good quarterback for LSU. Um, he's solid, but I feel like the 7 points and they're at home. Home dog always gives me a little bit of hope. I think South Carolina this year is a lot better than we thought they are. Um, Kentucky, they beat your Kentucky team pretty handily yesterday. Old Dominion first week. I mean, they won by 4, but um, first
Ha-
week, who knows? First week jitters, who knows about that? Um, yeah, LSU lost to USC, and then they played in what is it? What is it? IC Nickel State. Um, Won by 23. Didn't quite. They got half their spread, so I don't know. LSU is not as good as we think they are. South Carolina might be a little bit better. Nussmeier's a little scary. He can sling it. But I think just getting that 7 points at home in the SEC, that seems, SEC teams are relatively close to each other most of the time. 11 a.m. start on Saturday. I'm gonna take the Cox plus 220 here. Yeah, I just kind of like last week. I feel like it's just one of those spots where maybe LSU doesn't well, quite
Show
quite
up.
get it done there
Yeah.
in Columbia. So I'm gonna take South Carolina.
I like that. I like that. That pass rush for South Carolina is kind of scary. So maybe Nussmeier won't have time to cook you up. I had one honorable mention this week. I like Tulane plus 13.5 against the Sooners. Tulane looked good against Kansas State. A fumble to blow that game away. Oklahoma has not been tested at all, and they may have their eyes looking forward. I think they play Tennessee next week, Oklahoma. So they might be a little lax on the green wave there, a little too lax for my liking. But for my upset, we're going back out west, like we talked about earlier. I can find this game anywhere. It probably doesn't even exist. They're not even playing it. But yeah, weird rivalry week for the former Pac 12. Apple Cup, baby. We got an Apple Cup matchup going down. Washington State. And I don't know, man. If I'm Wazoo, they're kind of like the lovable losers of football. I shouldn't say losers, but like they got abandoned. They got left out of their conference. They got kicked to the curb. Nobody loves them or Oregon State. I'm gonna take Wazoo here. I'm gonna take Washington State in the upset. They're playing at what you call it in Seattle, so it is a road game, but only plus 165, getting 4.5 points. Obviously, Washington not the same team as they were last year. Brand new squad. I mean, Washington State's look good. I know they only scored 37 against Tech, but they weren't really trying. It felt like, but they moved the ball pretty well. Washington, on the other hand, they've played cupcake of cupcakes, Weber State and Eastern Michigan. Okay. They covered one, didn't cover the other. I just think this is a revenge game. This is personal. It's the Apple Cup. Wazoo got close last year against Washington, trying to push in them. I think they're going to get their revenge, say, hey, you left us out to dry. We're going to take it personally. I like Washington State in the upset at plus 165.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's kind of a for the when we've talked about rivalry games, I usually take the underdog cover in those games. That usually turns out pretty good. But yeah, Washington not nearly the same team as they were last year. It looks like here spread mostly is on Washington. Weirdly,
That's good. That's good.
yeah,
Go
that's good
against the
for you.
grain.
And then money line's also mostly on Washington. So
Go against the grain.
88% of the money line is on Washington. So a lot of parlays probably have Washington in them. Yeah, 230. Yeah, I don't mind the pick at all. It's a rivalry game, so who knows what's going to happen. So don't hate it one bit.
Feels weird to be saying that in week 3 of so, oh, we got
Yeah,
2 big rivalry games week 3. It's a tragedy here, but, run back, what's your picks for us, and we'll wrap it up.
got Arizona State minus 1.5 at Texas State. Have Oregon State rivalry game, Civil War, plus 16.5 at home against Oregon. And then Alabama, Wisconsin under 50.5, or I'll take 49.5. It's whatever on there. And then dog of the week, South Carolina plus 220.
It's a big one. I like it. All right. I got the Horns minus 35.5 against the Roadrunners. Iowa and Troy going against the grain. I'm betting the over 39 for the Iowa and Troy. Tennessee and Kent State also feeling zesty this week, over 62.5. Washington State as my upset over Washington in the Apple Cup at plus 165. That's going to do it for us this week. Again, if you guys haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, hit that subscribe button. We got daily sports content coming to you guys. And obviously, we got this lovely show for you every single week. We'll be back again next week, hopefully with Pete in a sizable lead over Scott so he can get ready to spin that wheel. We're getting close to the middle of September. It's coming. I know Scott's getting a little nervous here. I can see it on his face. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Again, like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you guys next week.